Ooh. Ooh. All right. We are back. Back like I never left. I still feel under the weather, but we still got work to do. Not only do we have work to do, we got things to talk about. So much has happened over the new year window. Any given Saturday or Sunday, you don't show up, whew, you do not show up, it won't fare well. That might sound very cliche, like you got to show up to do well. If you don't show up, you can't show out, right? Like it may sound very cliche, but I'm just saying to you, I watched a whole lot of teams this weekend go out and not show up. I'm not going to stay on my Michigan Wolverines because this is the NFL segment. College is Dunsky. I'm done with college. We're moving on. As Coach Belichick says, on to the next game. All right. So I got a list here. And before we get into this list I got, like I do not enjoy talking about the negative parts of our game. I call this our game because if you watch it, you enjoy the game too. I don't enjoy anything negative that happens in our game. And I also understand all of those things are not controllable factors. There's so many variables to winning and losing, all kind of things. But so I want to take a moment because if you were watching the Bills game, you watch Hamlin go into cardiac arrest. I turned it off once I saw that man collapse. I've been around enough football where I can tell you if it's a concussion just on how the body responds. I can tell you if it. I mean, I'm not. I do not have a. I'm not a doctor, but I've just seen enough on the football field and enough injuries to know when this is way beyond the trainers giving him a little smelling sauce. And so prayers go out to him, his family. This dude was a pillar in his community. Yeah. And so it's my hopes that he not only gets through this rough patch, but I hope that he comes out of this and has the ability to choose to play the game or not again. To leave the game on his accord, not on an injury. That's what I want for every player. That's what I want for every coach. The reality, though, coaches are not. You're gonna have to fire coaches. You have to fire them. You have to put them on a plank and walk them all the way off to that edge. Why? Because coaching is the next best thing in connection to playing. And if you miss playing, and if you like it's the locker room in itself is a drug, right? The football culture in itself is a drug. Like, and now if you're good, the fan base is like more drug, right? Because the cheers, the wins, like all of that. So I get it. It's a allure. And if you have never been in that culture, it may not make sense to you. But again, I like the worst part about the game is both of those teams are going to the playoffs. And so the fact that we're really trying to decide how we're going to reschedule that game, chalk that game up, call it a bye, call it a scrimmage. Like that's some of the things that irks me about big business in NFL or just business in general. Like, it's your company, dog. Don't Like, wait a minute. Why are we debating about if we gonna make the game up? We're not making the game up. It's over. Call it a draw. Call it a scrimmage. Call it a bye for that matter. Just like it's your company. Like, we have all these rules in play to not do something that's best for the people in the company. What are we talking about here? Now, y'all gonna have to hear me cough a little bit too. And if that's a problem, I understand too. The good news is I don't have COVID. COVID. All right. So yeah, look, man. I pray that he has a speedy recovery. He had a cardiac arrest on the field because he got hit in the chest. And if you saw the play, I don't need to illustrate or describe it. I turned it off. My wife thought I was pissed on the score. I wasn't. I was just like, I can't watch. I cannot watch kids, coaches just like go through it. I am soft at my old age, I guess. Like, I just had no interest in watching that develop or undevelop. Because I kind of already had known, like, this dude popped up and then collapsed. That doesn't happen in it. That doesn't happen. All right. So, prayers. If you want to go fund dude, he has a company and excuse me. I think he has a nonprofit for underserved children where he provides clothes, shoes, toys for kids as they go back to school or for the holiday. So I'll try to find his GoFundMe and put it out there for some of the listeners who might want to do so. All right, so that's the housekeeping. The last little bit of housekeeping is I'll be on the Big Jab, the Mannix Brothers at 1 o'clock today. That's thebigjab.com. You can go download that. You can listen to it live if you like at the bigjab.com. Yeah, so I feel for my Titans for a lot of reasons. Because the Titans are, man, like, they are the team that if they can get hot, they the team that's hard to stop. Unfortunately, losing to the Cowboys did not fare well for them. And I'm not a Cowboy fan. I got on the Cowboy bandwagon one time, and that was 2 years ago, and they got knocked off the playoffs. And ever since then, like, and this is the 2 years ago, this is when I first started radio. And I was with the Mannix Brothers, and I was telling people, like, the Cowboys are loaded. What do you want me to tell you? They loaded. They still loaded. And I'm not a believer. Now, I recognize that they are only a 4-loss team. They man, you just would have thought that the Titans would have been able to give them something, but unfortunately, the Titans just kind of faded. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, if they don't got their quarterback, right, and they ain't got the train, it's kind of hard to say that they're gonna be able to do something with the Cowboys. I'm just being real on that front. And the Titans are one of my squads because one of my coaching boys is down there, man. If I have a homie that's coaching on a staff, no, I do not go hard at that staff or that program. I just speak to it as everyone else saw it. If there's a coach on his staff that I don't know, I still don't go hard at him because I'm a coach. I've made every mistake on that football field that you're watching these dudes make. So, like, who am I to say, like, I can acknowledge the mistake and tell you what they were thinking? So, as I talk about what they were thinking, okay. Oh, the Broncos. The Broncos, man. I don't know what's going on with Russ. I really don't. I like Russell Wilson. I'm a big fan. I like the Broncos defense. They are PS2 is one of the best best DBs. He can play the slot man-to-man. He can play the outside man-to-man. I do not believe he's a safety, but if you put him in a cover role as a safety, I think he can lock that down too. That defense is legit. And they have a quarterback that, for the most part, you should have been able to play off of that defense. But I watched Wilson throw some passes, man, that just were ill-advised. I'm like, who are you throwing it to, bro? Like, and I'm not that guy. Like, every fan is like, yo, where is he throwing it? Look, I'm saying, like, I'm looking at the coverage, and I see he's trying to throw it to the person that's there, but he's not open. And it resulted in a pick. I don't know. Now, can my man Harbaugh come over to the Broncos and get that pony going? I don't know. I would say yes, because Harbaugh, he can't get on it. Look, if it's one fault of Harbaugh in the college game, he didn't bring that run mentality offense that he had in the NFL. Now, that could be coordinator driven. It could be a lot of mitigating circumstances on why he didn't make that conversion. But if he goes to the Broncos, I think they can make the conversion. Take some of the pressure off of Wilson's arm, let that defense work, and then go get 3 running backs. Just like that. Now, I'm going to throw you another name. Don't sleep. Coach Quinn from the Cowboys, his name will get dropped out there in some head coaching jobs. Yeah, I know he had the debacle or the shabacle in Atlanta. But that was a good Atlanta team. That was a good Atlanta ball club. He got to, and again, I was speaking to this in the college episode. You get to a mountaintop on anything and you don't get it done, to come back, you gotta come back with an idea on why I didn't get it done. And in that particular case, it was all aligned. So they should have won. And so to come off of that, you could say it's Bill Belichick. You could say it was Tom Brady. Look, at the end of the day, Matt Ryan, Coach Quinn, Coach Raheem, all these dudes, I know these dudes. They're good men, good coaches. The reality, you got to reset that and resolve it internally and emotionally. And his resolve is that Dallas Cowboy defense will knock your socks in the dirt. I'm just telling you. All right, you see me. I got my Eagles hat on. I'm an Eagles fan by way of my son, right? I know normally the father either divides the son into a fan base that the father wants nothing to do with, or the father encourages the son to be with the fan base that he's in. Here's 2 problems here. I was a professional coach. My son only knows the Detroit Lions by visiting Detroit. However, he did grow up in Philadelphia, and I love Philadelphia. It was very nostalgic of Detroit. And be that as it may, I've always, if you go back on the thread, and this is not for me to be boasting, I said to everyone, the Jalen Hurts method is secure. Coach over there know what he's doing. He go let Jalen do what he do. You want to win, let Jalen spin. And let's be honest, no, they have not clinched. They have lost 2 games in a row because Hurts is not playing. They lost the rival game to the Cowboys. Kudos to the coaching staff for not making this an ego thing, playing Hurts, and he gets hurt, and now they don't have him for the playoffs, and then they go on a 5-game skid. So, in respects to their loss to the Saints, they lost to the Saints, period. Hurts not playing. And that defense, look, still held the Saints to 20 points. And that last touchdown was garbage points. So look, don't sleep, don't trip. Hurts is going to get healthy. It's only my hopes that he is not critically hurt. where it's an injury that may not need surgery, but he can't perform at a high level because whatever. They have been very hush hush about the injury. So I'm not sure what's going on. But I can tell you this: the Hurts method works. That dude plays into his defense, and you've heard me say, good teams, the quarterback is tight with the defense. I guarantee you, Jalen Hurts hangs out with that defense. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. And that, my friends, is why you will see the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs with that bang bang. Flat out. All right. Yeah, the Bucks got it done. I only expected the Bucks to get it done. I am going to address this. I'm a Tom Brady fan, but here's where I will say. Tom Brady is becoming a look, you cannot deny this dude's ability to throw this ball. He's still putting up yards. He's still putting up numbers. I guess one of the things that I've always respected about Brady was accountability. He was definitely going to hold his people accountable. He was going to be intense. But right now, it's starting to feel a little abusive a little bit, I feel like. Because he's frustrated because he got a young squad around him. He throwing the ball 40 times a game. Let's call a spade a spade. He's throwing it 40 times a game. And he's yelling at everybody. The dude is losing his mind out there. Like 34 for 45. He completed 34 passes. Like, look, I'm just going to tell you his counterpart didn't throw the ball 34 times. Like, he's going to out-throw everybody. And just it's disappointing to see one of the greatest quarterbacks all time turn into a bitter man. Like, an angry man. Like, he's angry out there. He's pissed every time someone messes up. Like, and in my mind, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, he should be. But it's starting to become, he need to throw his arm around some of these dudes now. Like, I would say that about a coach that I saw that every time the camera on him, he rim shotting kids. Like, screaming down on them. Like, I would say the same thing. Hey, man, you need to put your arm around these kids now. Like this dude, and granted, he might do that in practice. But at some point, people are clamming up to play for him on game day. Like, I'm playing with the GOAT, and if I don't get it right, he goes scream down onto me. Like that's a whole different pressure, a whole different connection of quarterback receiver, quarterback O-line, quarterback running back. Like, Fournette ain't touching the ball, but at best 10 times a game. I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I just wanted to put that out there. I doubt Brady is listening to this, but look, man, love on these guys, man. They are fatigued, and you've been to the mountaintop. You've gone up the mountain. Some of these dudes have never gone up that mountain. And some of the dudes that you have that's gone up that mountain, I got to tell you, it feels like they are in a space where they're like, man, I don't want to go up this mountain with this dude no more. Now, whether that's right, wrong, or I don't know, but I'm just, as a defensive coordinator, I made a living on reading body language on the field before I called the play. Like, so if I saw the quarterback yelling at one of the linemen, don't even worry about it. I don't care what play this, I don't care what the stats tell me. I don't care what I think. I'm going right at the guy that I saw Tom Brady yelling at. I'm going to either blitz him. I'm going to put my best defensive lineman on him. If he yelling at a receiver, hey, you know what we about to do? Play coverage to this receiver. Like, I'm reading body language and making decisions based on body language just as much as I am making decisions based on the paperwork, the paper trail. For those, that's analytics. Okay? So, look, I feel like Tom Brady needs to, like, they may squeak in a wild card. Chances are they will. But yeah, I just want him to throw his arm around some guys during the game now. I'm tired of seeing them yell at guys. They're starting to get annoying. And I don't think he gotta hang it up. Still throwing 35 completions a game. Why? Hang it up for what? Now, he should have hung it up for his family, but that's a different story. And I am not about to talk about another man's family. Just that's some things we don't do around here. All right. Anyway, you see it. You see the Lions. Now, whether you want to respect the Lions or not, that's between you and you. I told you, no more room on this bandwagon. I told you the Lions may or may not make the playoffs. And they're playing Green Bay. Oh, for the dub? When are you in on Green Bay? Oh, dog. Listen, certain things as a fan, you sign up for. My question, honestly, is the Lions geeked about that? Are the Lions pumped about that? Are the Lions like, yo, we get to go to Green Bay? Lambeau? Beat up on Charlie, Mr. Rogers? To get in the playoffs? Sign me up, cuz I'm in. Now, that's how I feel. Towards the end of my college career, I started to, for a few reasons, health being one, I started to try to change my mindset on those kind of games. Like, my last game was a win, but we were losing. And when we started to come back, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Now we got a game on our hands. Like, I'm a fan and I'm a coach. The sweet spot is identifying, like, look, I can call the game, but they got to make the plays. And I want to be excited for them in the moment and the circumstance that they're in. And so towards the end, my last 4 or 5 years, like big games, I would get geeked for it, juiced for it. Because like, dog, if I got to win it and it got to be on them, that's how I want to win it. Straight up. And you know how I feel about them Packers. He's the elder statesman over there in Green Bay. Ain't too many people on payroll that's been there longer than him. And to be quite frank, he gonna want to go toe-to-toe with my man Goff. He gonna want to make this a shootout. Charlie Rogers gonna want to make this. Charlie Rogers. Mr. Rogers gonna want to go toe-to-toe with our quarterback in Detroit. And the reality of it is our defense is built to do that, but they won't win. If they want to beat the Lions, which trust me, they're not checking this out for a game plan. They got their own jobs. If you want to beat the Lions, don't go into a shootout with them. Manage them. Put them in positions where they got to execute long drives. Straight up, I'm just telling you. That's what I would do. They would have to score every time 10 plays or better. If they do that, I'm telling you, the Lions ends up losing because like the monotony and continuity and the discipline that it requires for them, like they're averaging 32 points a game. Like, and they big play points. Now, the kicker is this last game, Swift showed up. I think he had a dollar. And so, yeah. But the point is, to go to Green Bay, beat Green Bay, to get in the playoffs. I know I ain't wearing my Detroit stuff today, but that's what it's about, baby. You want to be in a position where you can play at the end for something meaningful. And meaningful to get in? Come on. Let's go. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Chicago, we took care of business. And in fact, I've already been vocal. I like the Chicago. I like Chicago. I think Chicago are a few pieces away and maybe a change mindset to how to manage their quarterback. He was right where he needed to be in terms of targets. He had 21 targets. Unfortunately, he only completed 7 of them. 1 and 1. He had a tutty and he had a pick. Now, he did run the ball for 132 yards against us. But that's not sustainable. Look at the Ravens. It's not sustainable. The MVP player of the NFL, Lamar Action Jackson, he ain't got a Super Bowl yet. I'm just telling you, MVP of the NFL does not equate Super Bowl. I'm just telling you. So, in that, let's keep it rolling. The clock is ticking, and I'm doing pretty good and sticking to my list over here, which generally, if you coached with me and you've played with me, I don't like lists. I hate lists. If you coach with me, I'm always going off script. Not always, but most of the time I go off script. All right. G-Man. Coach. I'm going to tell you, the Coach Saturday, man, look, I'm a big fan. I've already spoke positively about Coach Saturday and the juice that he has pumped into the last 6 weeks of the season. But Coach Saturday's a player, man. Like, this is what I'm speaking to about the emotions of the game and how it affects people. So, Matty Ice gets sacked. And when he gets sacked, the dude is doing snow angels. He has no idea Matty Ice is out. But that's not the point. Why are we not talking about how did we slide the offensive line protection away from Matty Ice's blind side and have a free runner? Let's be honest. They could have look, he could have undressed Matty. He could have undressed. He could have like taken his spine and put it straight into his heart. Because that's legal. Guys respect guys now and how they attack you and how they hit you. They are not trying to hit you to hurt you. They are trying to hit you to get you down. That's what that blitzer did. And by all means, and now this is the coach that I played for, right? He's not gonna say anything about what that dude did. He's actually go have a conversation with the quarterback because chances are the quarterback changed the protection and got his butt hit, right? So the protection probably was already good. He probably changed it. And let's say he did change it. Why didn't you change the protection? Because the protection is to save you. Look, quarterbacks, I love y'all. But, like, y'all not getting hit like quarterbacks used to get hit. And they're not hitting you like that intentionally, whether it's because of the rules, whether it's because of respect. They are not hitting quarterbacks like they used to hit quarterbacks. And so when you get upset at a dude for celebrating and you're not mad at the protection being messed up, and you're not mad that it was a free runner on your quarterback, blindside, could have taken Matt's head off, bro. You gonna be mad at the dude celebrating. Now, I'm a little under weather, so excuse the aggression. When I'm sick, I'm not a pleasant camper. So that's all I got to say about the Colts. Like, don't be that guy, coach. Don't be that guy talking about who classless out there. Like, because it was a classless move to have your quarterback on the blind side of the protection and get earholed. Like this dude can't celebrate. Like, he's supposed to be responsible for the lack of protection and make sure. So I'm gonna sack this dude, make sure he's okay before I celebrate. Like, I don't even know. He didn't even hit him hard. So now it wasn't even a concuss issue as I understood it. Hey, look, this dude looking at, like, we know what it is. We can look at it and tell what it is. I necessarily think the average eye can, but Coach Saturday, you've been in this game. You mad at your O-line and you trying to divert and deflect and make it about the person who got the sack, but it wasn't. And it wasn't classless. He was having a good old time, having fun, and he gave your quarterback a break because he could have went straight through his back. I want to hear that. Giants get it done because of that. 38-10. All right, I know. I'm sorry. I'm gonna calm down. Sorry. Just like what it, we like. Look, shout out to I'm not making it a habit of calling for jobs. I'm not making it a habit of saying who should go, who should stay. Okay, I don't want to do all that. Okay, but I'm just telling you, people don't make it a habit to cancel you. So don't make it a habit to cancel them. But this is what we do, so I can talk about it as I see fit, and I see it through the eyes of Coach Hall. But he could undress Matt Ryan. He gave Matt Ryan a break. Coach Saturday talking about that's classless. Bro. Anyway, all right. Last game. Yup. Got to the 8-8 bowl. The 8-8 bowl. So now I live in New England. For those who follow or listen, you may not all be from New England. I live in New England, and I can tell you right now, Patriot Nation is salty. Now, I've been in New England for a long time. I know why they salty, because they're not used. Listen, not many Patriots remember. I shouldn't say that. If you are 40 or 35 and older, you remember the Patriots when they stunk. But if you're not, you don't know the New England Patriots that stunk. You don't know that y'all weren't going to the playoffs, and when y'all went to the Super Bowl, y'all got embarrassed and then went on a skid for 10 years plus after that. So when I look at a Patriots team that's 8-8, battling for a wild card spot, beat a Dolphins team that no one gave them a shot to beat, I'm saying it's because y'all got Bill Belichick. Anybody else would have been a 4-12 team. Like, and it's beyond me that, like, the fan base in New England, you are starting to become victims of your own success. And once you become a victim of your own success, it's hard to get out of your own way, because you're comparing every year to the years of old. You're comparing every quarterback to Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady got his own issues, bro. I'm just saying. So at some point, in my mind, as I live in New England, I'm not a New Englander. I'm a Michiganian. And I'm saying, y'all have no idea what it's like to be a Lions fan. Yet, y'all, I'm happy we competing for a wild card spot. I'm excited. Y'all are like salty that y'all competing for a wild card spot, and that y'all beat the Dolphins, which gives you the ability to compete for a wild card spot. Beyond me, dog. Beyond me. I'm just telling you. It's beyond me. Beyond me. And then, oh, y'all want to fire Coach Belichick. I don't want to get on that. I don't want to get on that again. Go ahead. Go get the coach you want to go get. You won't see a Super Bowl for another 10 years. All right, I'm done. All right, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Oh, one more team. Maybe two more teams. Definitely one more. Kudos to my man Geno Smith going back to New York. You know I'm a big fan of the Jets. By way of me living in New York, I almost worked for the Jets. A lot of different reasons why I like the Jets. I got some of my former players who coach for the Jets. But man, I talk to you like the football guys don't give out poetic justice all the time. That's just not a thing. But this was pretty poetic for Geno. Go back to New York and spanked them Jets 23-6. And for everybody who thought Geno wasn't serious, for everybody like, again, this is the year of the 8-8 ball club who might find themselves in the Super Bowl. All right, so anyway, I'm gonna touch on this. Okay, I love Mike White for the Jets. He's more that style. He fits that media market, all of that. Geno, on the other hand, bottom line is he ain't played great. He went 18 for 29, but he did throw 2 tutties. But what saved him is they toted the ball. They ran the ball for a total. I think they carried the ball 31 times for over 200. I think just under 200 yards. That's what helped them. And for the world of me, Jets didn't run the ball. Like, I like Mike White. I get it. 46 times? Who you think this kid is? Joe Namath? Okay, that wasn't fair. You're right. That's a low blow. Who you think this kid is? Joey Flacco? Just because he's on the... All right, whatever. My point is, I like Mike White. He's a gritty kid. I think he's the sneaky athlete that Zach Wilson might be more athletic, but I think for what Mike White is, his athletic ability has a lot to do with timing. I like his vision. I love everything about Mike White. And you know why I like Mike White more? Because not only did this dude come in last year and get money, they did nothing but disrespect the man this year, and he came in again to get money. Now, this is his first loss. So, be that as it may, like, I still say Mike White is your guy. The problem is you got to hold on to Zach for another 2 seasons before you can move him. Maybe 1. So, yeah, man, look, shout out to Geno Smith getting it done back in New York, who drafted him first and ruined the first 4 or 5 years of his career, in my assessment. And the last team that we will discuss before I get going, again, check us out on thebigjab.com. At 1 o'clock, I'll be on with the Mannix brothers at 1. Yeah. So kudos to Doodoo Brown. Doodoo Brown. I love Doodoo Brown. And they got my man Watson back in the fold. He puts up 24 points. He didn't do bad either. I watched him. He got off to a slow start. And look, throwing the ball about 20 times is just right for where he is at. But he was efficient. He had 3 touchdowns. And you would only expect Nick Chubb to go for $1. The crazy part is, like, he only had 14 carries and went for $1. All right, so now why am I bringing up Doodoo Browns and the Contras, Commandos, and Commanders and Cobras? I don't know. I don't know why I be doing their names so dirty. Because, man, it should have just been like, I don't want to become political. All right, Carson Wentz threw 3 picks. Now, the real question is, did they bring Carson Wentz back in because Heineke couldn't go? Which I doubt. But to save face, we're not out of the playoffs, but we're not in the playoffs. This game they need it. And they ain't get it. Why they ain't get it? Because they ain't got it. That's why. So here's another situation. The guy that they got, they don't love. They don't love Heineke. Forget that he got them in a position to compete for the playoffs. They don't love him, no. Just like Mike White. They don't love him. So both these kids had people come in over them, and all they did was, okay, just buying time. Soon as they call my card, I'm going to go hard. And then when they call my car, I'm going 21, 21, 21, 21 Savage. No, I'm just saying. I'm not a big 21 Savage fan either. But point still stands. Point still stands. The guys that they have on their roster at quarterback, Heineke is a guy. Mike White is a guy. You spent a lot of money for them to prove that they your guys. And sometimes that's what you got to do. I ain't mad at that. If you didn't see that memo of how much money the NFL spends on unjust firings and contracts that got to get paid out, hey, is a business and is a money business. And to be quite honest, all of the dudes that I know still playing in the NFL, they made the money an easy business for the teams. Think about that. All right, that's all I got. Again, pray for my man at the Bills, Hamlin. Cardiac arrest. They did bring him back, but he's not out of the woods yet. So continue to pray for him. I will try to drop his GoFundMe for his foundation. But that being said, check me out at the Big Jab at 1:00 today. This is Coach Hall, and you are caught up. Peace.